Good evening, and once again welcome to another Beer Reviews. Tonight we're going to be trying Guinness Foreign Extra. Now everyone has heard of Guinness, the ubiquitous stout across Ireland, well known across England as well. You can find it in every single supermarket across the nation and indeed in many other countries as well. This one is a slightly different beer, very slightly different, a few percentage different. It's 7.5% as opposed to, I assume, with normal Guinness from tap and from the cans. I'm assuming that's more like around about 5%. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. So this is Foreign Extra. This is the one that traditionally brewed to go abroad because the higher alcohol percentage would mean it stays fresher for longer. That's the word I'm looking for. It won't go stale as quickly. I was really fortunate because this bottle has actually been covered in gunk, so I managed to get it for a discount price as well. I managed to get a few for a discount price. It says on the back, Foreign Extra Stout is a beer like no other, the most full-flavoured of all, singular and striking, uniquely satisfying. Brewed with extra hops and roasted barley for a natural bite, bitter is sweet, refreshingly crisp, always rewarding. Pure beauty, pure Guinness. So we can almost think of this perhaps as like an Imperial Stout. It's been extra hopped and extra barleyed. And you know, if you know anything about the original Guinness, it's well known and well revered and well loved, and for good reason as well. I quite like it. I'll definitely do a review on it coming up as well. So this one's going to be a bit more of everything, a bit more bite, a bit more barley. Should be quite interesting. So let's crack it on open. If you ever get a chance to go, I really recommend that you go down to Dublin if you're ever around that way and go to the brewery there, because it's quite an interesting place. You get to go drink in the actual Guinness bar upstairs as well. It's quite interesting. So let's give it a good old pour out. Using an interesting glass today because most of my other ones are quite messy. There we go. Oh heck. Whoops, my bad. Bit of a taste. Overpoured it. As you can probably tell, that is very heavily carbonated. There is a massive head on it. That's 2 and a bit, 2.5 maybe fingers of head on the glass there. It looks like a typical kind of Guinness colour. It is pitch black as the night. There is no light coming through it at all, even when I hold it up. You might not be able to see it. Even when I hold it up, there is no light coming through. Interesting, the head isn't as smooth and creamy as you ever expected from a normal Guinness. This is probably because it's bottled. You know, it's been in bottle, it's bottle conditioned, and it hasn't got a widget in it like some of the cans do. It's got a widget to give it a really creamy, frothy head, and it's obviously not going to have the same as a hand pour where you can control the amount of head you need. So let's go for in terms of smell. Quite odd actually. You know what, I really can't smell much. That's me. I've got a bit of a cold. I hope that's just me not being able to smell it. I'll tell you what, if I give it a swig from the bottle, it might be just because I spilled it everywhere. No, all I can kind of smell is a very faint amount of bittersweet chocolate, but it doesn't seem to be pungent in smell actually. I seem to be lacking the smell. I've still got a bit left in the bottle, so I'll tell you what. Just pour that into a proper snifter glass and then give it a good aerate it a bit and see if we can't get a good smell. Yeah, that's better. better in a bigger bowl glass. It smells really sweet, chocolatey. So again, it's quite fruity as well, I must say. Doesn't smell as deep and dark as I thought it would do. There's a lot more kind of sweet, lactosey kind of smells going on, sugary kind of smell. Chocolatey and sugary and kind of very sweet. I wouldn't say hoppy, it's definitely more like a saccharine, sugary kind of smell going on. Alright, so without further ado, let's get on in there. I've already had a taste, but well. Oh yeah. It is very much like the traditional Guinness, but there's definitely a lot more hop presence in that. There's a nice dark smoky sort of flavour coming from the malts. Really lot of roasted character coming through. A lot of roasted character, more than kind of the chocolatey smells I was getting, and more than the sweetness I was getting on it too. There's a lot of roasted, bitter roasted flavour coming through, and then a fantastic kind of hot bite that kind of lingers in the mouth. It's an aggressive hot bite because it's still continuing. It's not kind of easing out. It's still kind of as strong almost as when I took a sip. It's kind of lovely. It's just below being too much bitterness for the beer, and I like that. It's just enough to make me go like, oh, it's really got a nice kind of feel to it. It's got a nice medium-bodied mouthfeel. It's definitely not wet and watery. It's got a little bit of chunk to it, but it's not as thick and heavy as some of the original Guinness kind of from tap. It's a fair bit lighter than that, I think, and the carbonation is very smooth and very forgiving on the tongue, but it's nice. It keeps it light and flowing in the mouth. I am a little bit, I won't want to say disappointed, because there's definitely malt body presence, but from a Guinness and from a Guinness kind of a Guinness extra, so this kind of what I'm going to class as an Imperial Guinness, I was expecting just a little bit more chunky bite from malt flavours. There's definitely more roasted and hoppy bite, definitely more of that, and that's really pleasant. Almost feels like a lighter beer in that sense, even though despite being 7.5%, actually, having said that, it's remarkably smooth drinking for a 7.5% beer. I mean, remarkably smooth drinking. It definitely feels more like a sessionable bitter, and that could be very lethal. It could be very, very lethal. Sorry, I was saying, feels a little bit lacking in the stouty bodiness compared to the Guinness you kind of used to, the thick, stodgy, wonderful, licorice kind of Guinness. But that's perhaps not a bad thing. So let's have a good thing. I'm going to go for a 7.5 actually, because I do like Guinness. I think it's one of the things that if there's no else on the bar, and well, that sounds a bit harsh to Guinness, but there's always a consistent choice on the bar, and it's Guinness. If I'm anywhere and I feel like I could have one because it is very thick and heavy, I'll go for a Guinness. If I don't, nothing else catches my fancy, Guinness is a good one. And I do like this. So 7.5. It's got a little bit of extra hot bite, but it just needs, I'd like a little bit more malt presence in it. I think perhaps it's been not over hopped. I like the bitterness levels, but I think it needs a little bit more malt, a little bit more extra gumption, a bit more chocolate, a bit more roast. I want that. That's what I think this beer needs. Overall though, it's a really nice beer, and it's relatively cheap, and I'm sure this is ubiquitous. I'm sure this is everywhere as well, so go and give it a try. Like, favourite, comment, subscribe the video, and I've just realised before I forget, like, favourite, comment, subscribe as well, and I shall see you all again on the next Bear Beer Reviews. Cheers.